guys, so some of you may remember last week I started playing around with this really nifty archer weave combo. And I was reminded that it resembled somewhat this move that Kate McCoy had done in a Noel Tech video last year. So I resolved to take what I knew about my the kind of moving it around archer weave in split time same direction and see how much of it would apply to Kate's move. And it turns out almost none of it did. Not just because Kate's move is in opposites, but also because it's a fundamentally different kind of move. So to start off with learning it, we're going to go ahead and keep screwing up which hand it is. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put down the poi in the right hand and just use the poi in the left hand. And as the poi is going around, now my arms are crossed over each other and the poi is in wall plane, my right hand is on top of my left hand. And the next moment that the left hand poi is pointed away from me, I'm going to try and trace out a 3-beat waist strap. But the trick here is that my right hand is tracing out the path of what would be the other poi head. So you could imagine that your shoulder now is what your right hand used to be, and your right hand now is the poi head. So it looks a little bit like an archer weave, and it feels a little bit like an archer weave, but the hand has more mobility here than it would in a normal archer weave, where my hand would just be straight out to the side like this. And that's going to be hella important, as you'll see. Once you've played around with that, it's time to add in the other poi. And I've been starting off from a place with my arms crossed and the poi in split opposites. And when I do this, let me just demonstrate what the right hand is doing in this. The right hand is performing that 3-beat weave, but it is doing so while moving the poi head in anti-spin, and specifically it's moving it in triquetras. I'm thinking this as being a triquetra pointed to the right, and thus the pedal pointed out to the right becomes my cross point. Keep in mind, you got to move the poi head relatively rapidly in order to make this work. But from this place of split opposites, we're then going to go ahead and move that hand around as though it's the other poi head in that weave. And as you can see, it creates a really interesting dynamic wherein we can totally read the hand's relationship with the other poi head, but its relationship to the anti-spin is also clear. I've hit myself so much working on this tonight, I'm not even joking. And of course, once you get it on one side, it's time to work on getting it on the other side. So with the left hand moving around in what would be the opposite poi head. What really makes this work is normally when we play around with a static spin versus triquetra, we're doing it in kind of an antibrid place, whereas this move is entirely performed with the triquetra hand, basically performing in split time same direction with the static hand. So rather than having a relationship between the two, we're looking to create a relationship opposite the two. Which is a little hard to do if you're just doing it alone. But when you transform it into this weave place, the relationship reads much easier. And of course, you're going to get to a position where the opposite side poi is going to be on top, which you can then use to switch over into this weave going the other side. Pretty nifty, huh? Kate, once again, thank you for the awesome inspiration. Hope you guys get a lot out of this. I know I have. You're going to hit yourselves a lot on this one. I sure did. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have yourselves a great week. Peace.